Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariah, and on my channel I post things lifestyle and physiotherapy related. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, notification bell, also never miss a video. Today I want to talk about acute medicine, which is the rotation I have just finished. I have learned so much on my acute medicine rotation. If you're unaware of what acute medicine means or what that rotation entails, it's also known as different things. So acute medicine can also be known as your front door rotation or your admission avoidance rotation. Essentially, your acute medicine team is the team of therapists that are based at the front end of the hospital. So they are the people who are based in like the A&E sections. They are the people who are based on those short stay wards, and again try to avoid admissions, or at least if they're on the short stay wards, try to avoid prolonged admissions. So that's what the team covers. I have learned a lot. Now, I knew I was going to learn a lot, considering I did it as a student twice, and I really enjoyed it when I did it as a student. But this time around, it's been different, actually being qualified and going through this rotation. It's like one big thing I learned from going into the different areas, like being on ED and being on the wards itself. It's just like the different types of cases that we are involved in. It's like very interesting, the spectrum of cases. A lot of people think it's like just falls, for instance, or issuing equipment at like the A&E ED aspect. Although that does come into play, and you do get a lot of fallers and everything, there's so many different types of cases that we will take on. Yeah, it's just very interesting to factor in. I think the big thing that I've learned in this rotation, just like not just based on the rotation itself, but like I think like the team and everything and how it's just run where I am, is the importance of CPD time, taking that time out to really develop yourself. But there's so many different things that you're going to see, staying on top of your like knowledge and being able to recognize those gaps and what you need to, what you need replenishing, what you need that CPD time on is like very important. And being on this rotation has made me really remember the importance of it. Like I always known it was important, but what I mean is in terms of like pushing for that paid CPD time, outside of just like your in-service training. That's very important. Another thing I would say that like I've really learned is that I make it very open and clear how I feel about MSK, and this rotation has like pushed me to dig a little deeper beyond the surface of what I was happy of knowing. I'm still at like an MSK point where I'm happy being able to like assess, post scans, etc., and do that. I'm not necessarily like happy to diagnose an MSK thing. It's just with my personal experiences, I don't feel like I'm necessarily like without additional information, etc., I can't necessarily feel and be like, boom, meniscus, like meniscal tear or something like that. But it's just one of those things that like I've realised that I'm at the point now in my career that I have to make this a priority. The fact that I can't like run away, I can't run away from the fact that like MSK isn't my strong point. Yeah, so that has really highlighted it for me and made me think deeper. I've really appreciated the trainings and everything into it and the resources that I've been able to access. Looking into that, it makes me want to bring back like Anki again, because I found Anki was a very good way in university to help me remember like bones and structures and ligaments, etc. Because there's just so much information that you have to retain to like a certain level of information you retain. Yeah, but it's really like opened my eyes in that sense. Another thing I've learned a lot with this rotation is just management, general management. All the wards are different. You work with like different colleagues. Just your caseload's different. For instance, I've learned a lot about like people management. I've learned a lot about like ward management as well, and like I feel like I came into the rotation with a very good level of ward management already, but it's really taught me different skills that I didn't utilize or didn't know that I had and needed to develop, which has been very, very, very good. Time management, obviously, with being an ED, trying to like prioritize between as to why you're going to see a certain patient before you see a certain patient. Obviously, you have those easy cases of where it's like a chest over a ongoing therapy fit patient. Like those cases are simple, but I'm talking like you have an ED patient who's coming with this presentation, like a fall. Let's say you got an ED patient that came with a fall versus a person who's like, I don't know, versus some other case on the ward that you could argue are on the same level, but like how do you reason why you're going to see one over the other? It's been very interesting to think about, and been very interesting to experience. It's been an all-round great rotation. The great rotation, it's challenging moments and everything, but I think it's given me a good set of tools and skills to move forward in my career with. It's definitely prepared me for a 6, and this secondment I've got has definitely prepared me for that, and has made me more like comfortable, especially on the people management side, more comfortable in recognizing like things within myself in terms of how I work, and how sometimes that may not always be like, basically not everybody works the same as me. Even though I knew that, it really like highlighted that to me as well, and made me think of different ways to communicate and different ways to manage and lead. It's been very insightful rotation. I feel like I've grown a lot, not just like clinically but non-clinically, across the 4 months, which I really appreciate. I think it's definitely a rotational area that I would recommend, especially if you're, I would say, if you're a person who likes like a fast-paced environment, if you like a different caseload, a mixture of a caseload in that fast-paced environment and inpatient, I think it's a good area to be in. It's just definitely something to check out. I would say, I think if I had to pick one thing that like is a bit of maybe something that will not necessarily put someone off doing front door, or like front door admission avoidance or something like along those lines, is maybe the fact that like when you're in your other specialities where you get to spend a little longer with a person, when you're on front door and you're in a short stay ward, you may just start with a very interesting or complex case, and then within day 2 or 3 they move them to another ward where another team gets to do all that rehab and that long-term therapy that you may not, you don't get involved in many cases. So that, depending on who you are and depending on what you like, that can be a thing that can be a little tricky to adjust to, especially if you're a person who likes to follow someone in from there. Okay, they've come in like this and I'm planning the discharge and all that. You did do discharge planning in front door as well. Is another good thing talking about discharge planning that I've really learned and has been very good, is learning a lot about those like community assistance things, like these rapid response situations, like who you can, that rapid response team, these how to communicate with the community team, that just ring them, and like, the whole thing about like in terms of with referrals, like if the patient's been in for a certain amount of time, can I do referral this way, or do I have to do it like file it that way? Like thinking about those things, I've really enhanced my understanding of like the structures of how things go down, and it's also really even like, it's good. It's just basically giving me a lot of skills and helps me network a lot with different teams that I wasn't necessarily aware of, that only really appear when you're in that front door admission avoidance acute medicine setting. So all in all, great rotation, very good rotation. It's been a great 3rd rotation for me, and we'll see what happens. Moving forward, we'll see where life takes me. We'll see what happens after this convent of mine, but I'm super excited to take forward the skills that I have gained, not just in this rotation but in my 2 previous rotations, forward with me into this role. But that was my reflection on acute medicine. If you have any questions about the acute medicine rotation or how you may prepare for it, and I feel like I can answer them, and then obviously hit me up. Again, this was my opinion on how it went for me. Hopefully you guys had great other experiences like myself, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.